have to first go to Amazon Web Service website, which is aws.amazon.com, and you can click here to create a free account, and it will give you a sign up form. And this is a point why I choose AWS, because we have a 12-month of free tier service access. Actually, other providers will be charging you a constant monthly billing, but in Amazon they will be charging you only for free usage, and you have a 12-month of free tier access, which means for 1 year, if your usage is very low, you should pay only very minimal amount, which is very minimal, and almost free if you are saying. And if you are hosting a commercial service, then only you will be charged, because then your usage will be higher. If you are trying it for personal use or trying it for training purpose, you can have it almost free. So please go ahead and fill the form and create an account. And once you create your account, you can sign into the console by clicking the sign into console button, and you will be greeted with a page where you can have all the services listed. Click on this services link. The service we are going to use is called as EC2. EC2 is a service which we can use to launch virtual servers. Each virtual server will be a computer which we can manage, so it will act as individual computers, just like a dedicated server for you. And let's launch a new instance, a new server instance. Click on this button, click on launch instance, and we can choose any free tier available. It's better to have an Ubuntu system, because the server will work fine with Ubuntu system. Click on select, and here select the free tier available. Any other things will be chargeable, so let's have the free tier eligible T2 micro. Configure instance details. Nothing to configure here, just keep everything as it is. Next, add storage, and we have 8 GB of storage. It's more than enough for the demonstration, so we are not going to change anything here also. Next, click on add tags. Let's add a tag to differentiate our server, just in case if you are having 4 to 5 or 6 or 10 server instances available, and if you want to differentiate these servers, then you have to use this key and value. Let's have it like for GPS demo. Already had one here. The value also, let's have the same for GPS demo. For key you cannot have spaces up, but for values you can have spaces. Next, let's configure the security group. This is an important step actually, because this is a firewall. In other VPS providers, they will be giving you some other interface to configure firewall, or you have to go to the command line and configure the firewall yourself. But for Amazon, it's a very easy interface, very simple interface. We have to open few ports here, so that's why we need to configure security group. Let's create a new security group. Here also we can give a name for GPS demo. The description also, let's have it like this. And they already have an SSH port open, which is port number 22, just for the sake of connecting to the server via command line. They have enabled the port 22. We will add role for HTTP, because we need to access the tracking interface, the interface in which you can view all your tracked devices. That's a web interface, so we need to have the HTTP port open, and we need to have one more port open, which is HTTP port itself. Let's have a custom HTTP port. Let's have one custom TCP port, because HTTP is actually a TCP protocol. Since HTTP use 80, we cannot use the same port. We have to define a custom TCP rule in which we can specify the port. The port we are going to open here is 5055. And I would like to inform you that all these steps are documented in a text file, and I have attached the text file along with the course. You can download the text file, the steps for installing our VPS server. So here is the first step. We are doing it right now, and the rest of the steps we will have it in the next session. So we have opened port 22, which is already open. 80 we opened the HTTP port, and 5055, which is a TCP port, we have just opened the port. Next, click on review and launch, and click on launch, and it will ask you to create a key pair. Actually, in AWS EC2 instances, they will not be using a password to log into the system. They will have a username, which is a global username. In case of Ubuntu, they will be using Ubuntu as a username, but they will not be using a password. Instead of password, they will be using a public-private key pair. And using this key pair, we can sign into the server. So we have to create a new key pair, we have to download it and keep it in a secure location because that is actually our password to log in. So let's create a key pair for GPS demo, and we are downloading the key pair, and I'm going to save it inside this directory. Save, and our key has been saved. Let's now click on launch instance, and the instance is now launching. You can click here to view the status. Right now it's pending. It may take a few seconds to get it online. Once it's online, you will have a green icon here. And while the server is starting, let's have a program to connect to the server using a command line interface, and we call it as SSH client. There are many SSH clients available. Since I am using a Windows computer, I am going to use a Windows SSH client. If you are using a Mac or a Linux, those operating systems are also having its own SSH client programs. You can download it from the App Store or the program application store. You can click on the bitwise.com link and bitwise.com/SSH client. Here you can have the details of this client. You can click on download and download this file, the bitwise SSH client tunnelier file, and this is the file that we are going to download. Bitwise SSH client installer. Click on that. Let's start the download. We are downloading the Bitwise client application. The download is now complete. Show in folder, and here in the folder we have the application. Just double click on that and it will start the installer, and you can go ahead and install it just like any other program in your computer. Just click on next, and that's all with the installation. Since I already have it installed, it's asking me to replace. I'm not going to do that. If you replace, the existing application will be replaced. So it's installed. You can have an icon like this. Click on that and it will launch the application. And now let's go back to our server. Let's see if yes, it's now up and running. The IP address of our server is this. Let's copy it and go to our Bitwise client application. Click on new profile, and it will ask where you can save this profile. Let's save it as GPS demo and click on save. And this is our new profile. Everything is empty right now, so we have to have this IP address pasted here as host. The port number which we are going to connect is 22, which is a SSH port. It's okay. Now the username, as I said before, it's a global username called Ubuntu, since we are having an Ubuntu server, and we are going to authenticate using the key. So let's click on the client key manager. I already have a key imported here. Let's import the new key which we got, and here you have to select all files, and you can see the certificate file here. Click on open and add a command like for GPS demo and click on import, and you can see the certificate has been imported with the command that we just gave for GPS demo. Let's close this window, and before that let's check what exactly is the profile name. The profile name is profile1, so let's select profile. Let's select here public key and select the client key as profile1. Now let's click on login, accept and save, which is a host key. So we were using our private key to connect to the server, and server will be sending us its public key. So server can distribute its public key, it's not a problem. But to decrypt the data that we send to the server can be done by only using the combination of our private key and the server's public key. So that's why I told you to keep your private key very secure, because with the private key and a public key from server, anyone can decrypt your data. So keep it as safe. Now let's accept the public key from the server, accept and save. I think there's some problem. Let's click on login, and yes, we logged in. So this is our server, and this is a client side. I mean my desktop. This is a server. We are currently in the home Ubuntu directory of the server. Actually, we are not going to use this graphical interface. We will be always using this command terminal. The same thing you can see here also. This is the home folder. Here also, if you type the command pwd, which is the present working directory, you can see we are currently inside the home Ubuntu, and issue the ls command and you can see the list of files. And these are hidden files. If you want to see it, just issue ls-a and you can see the hidden files. We have installed our Amazon EC2 server with Ubuntu operating system. We will be going ahead installing Truckr, which is an open source GPS tracking server available. You can go to Truckr website to get more details. The website is truckr.org and you can get more details in this website. Products they have 3 products. Truckr server is what is getting installed in the server. So we are going to install it right now in this session. And Truckr client is a application which we will open this link. This is an application which is available for Android, iOS, and there's a hidden version available for Android. So this application actually when installed, it will reside in the device which you are installing. It will not be having a big interface and all, just a small screen. And for the hidden version, there will not be any small screen. So it will send the GPS data continuously to the server. We'll see how you can configure in the next session. Truckr Manager is a software in which you can see, let's go to App Store and Google Play Store. You can track the location of the device. So the first one, the client one, is the software that sent the GPS location details to the server, and the second one is actually the tracking software in which you can track the device. So let's go ahead and install the server first. So first thing first, we need to have a server, a GPS server. So we are going to install the Truckr GPS server. On top of it, everything is open source. You can download these applications. You can modify it according to your needs, maybe a custom theme or a custom interface which match your branding. You can modify it. And let's now go ahead with installing the server. The steps to install server has been documented by me, and I have attached it to the course as a material you can download. So we have already opened the ports and we have configured the instance. Now we need to update the repository. Just issue the command apt-get update. Open the terminal. We have the terminal open right now. Copy, go to the terminal, right click and it will get paste. Make sure you are prefixing all the commands with sudo so that it will be run as a administrator. Or as a shortcut, you can use a command called, I will update the command here, sudo su, so that you don't have to issue the sudo prior to all the commands, because this command will enable you to run all the rest of the commands as a root user. So enable super user mode by using this command. Okay, let's have this command executed at first and then we'll proceed with the rest of the things. Okay, so now we are the root user. We can see at first we were the Ubuntu user which we used to log in. Now we are the root user. Let me clear the screen. And let's now update the repository. Repository is actually the list of links from where the server can download the packages or the software packages. We are going to update it. Since we have just installed the server, the list may not be updated. So we are going to update the link, and it's getting all the package list, software packages list. May take a while sometimes depending on your network connection. Okay, it's now finished. Now let's install Java and MySQL server. So Truckr is a Java based program, and the database Truckr using to save the location and all the details is MySQL. So we need to have these two installed. So we are going to install the Java runtime environment and also the MySQL server. Just copy this line, copy and paste and enter. So it requires 500 MB of disk space. Okay, yes. Okay, now it's asking for MySQL password. Let me have a simple password like GPS demo. Okay, it may take a while. I am going to pause this video and come back after the installation is complete. The installation is now complete, and now let's go and issue the next command, which is used to create a database called Truckr. So this is a command, copy and paste. So it's asking me to enter the password. Let's have the password, the same password as, actually I typed it wrong. The password was GPS demo. Okay, so the database has been created right now without any errors. And now let's download the trucker package for Linux. We are going to use a command called wget to download something from the World Wide Web or internet. We are using the command called wget and the link to download the file. Let's run this in our terminal. Right click and it will paste, then press enter. You can see the trucker.zip file is currently downloading. Yes, the download is complete. Just check with ls command and you can see the zip file. Or you can go to our graphical interface, then refresh and you can see the zip file here. And now let's go ahead with the next command. So we currently have this package in a zipped format. We need to unzip it. Just issue this command to unzip it. It will be unzipping all the zip files starting with the name trucker-linux. The unzip is now complete. Let's issue the ls command to see. Yes, we have a file called trucker.run. So we are going to run this file in order to install the trucker service. Just copy and paste it. Press enter to run this file. So the installation of trucker has started and the service is installed successfully. Now let's create a configuration file called trucker.xml. So we are going to use an editor called Nano, which is a command line editor. So this is a Notepad++, which is a graphical editor which can be used in Windows. But since we are using a terminal, let me clear it. Since we are using a terminal, we cannot use a graphical editor like this. So we are going to use a terminal based editor called Nano. And we are going to create a file called trucker.xml. Let's copy this command, paste it here and enter, and you can see a new file is created, and the contents, you may copy the contents of this XML file from the XML tag to the properties tag closing. Let's copy it and just do a right click and it will get pasted. And here we have to change something. Here we have to change the database user password. The password we gave for database was GPS demo. This was the password we gave. So let's change it. To save, Control O, it will ask the file name to save. Let's save in the same file name. Press enter and you can see it wrote 20 lines. Now press Control and X to exit back to the terminal. And the next step, we are going to replace the default configuration file with the configuration that we just created, because trucker will be having a default configuration with all the default values. We have configured it, at least the password, so that we can have our own custom configuration. So let's copy our custom configuration file into the directory opt/trucker/configuration. Let's run this command, which will copy our current configuration. The configuration we just saved from our home directory to the opt trucker configuration directory. Okay, it's just copy it fine, and we have the installer right now there. Those are the installer files, the trucker.run, the trucker linux zip and readme. Let's remove all these files. We don't want to eat the space of the hard disk of our server. So let's run the remove command. rm trucker.run, the first file, the readme file and the zip file. Let's copy it, paste it and press enter. Now let's check with an ls command and you can see only the trucker.xml remains. Now we have an optional step. Since it's a GPS system, it will be receiving always the GPS coordinates, and if there is a problem or if you configure it, it will be writing logs into log files. Since the GPS system will be sending data so frequently that the log will be very big in size. So we have to clear the old logs every time. So let's issue this command. But it's not actually required, it's an optional command. Let's go and execute this command. And now we have everything set up to run the service. Let's go to opt/trucker/bin startdaemon.sh. So this is a service. In Windows, the program that is running in background is called as a service, and in Linux it is called as a daemon. Both are small programs that run in the background. So here our program runs in the background and listens for the phone or the GPS device which is sending the signal. Let's start the service. Okay, the service is now started. Service tracker started, and let's check if the service is working fine by printing the log. And yes, it's working fine. Now let's do one thing. Let's go to our browser and check if we can access the tracker homepage of our server. So let's go to the IP address that we have, which is 18.218.126.19. Copy in the address bar, paste the IP address and press enter. It will be automatically loaded. And here the first home page of our tracker web interface is loaded, so our tracker installation was successful. Let me click on the register button because I don't have a user registered in the server till now. So my name I will give as Abhi and email abhi studios@gmail.com, and the password is we can use the same password anyway, we are not going to forget it. So GPS demo, and click on save. The new user has been registered. Now let's go ahead and log in as the user that we just registered. The email was my Gmail address and password is GPS demo, and click on login. Yes, you can see a really nice interface with a map on the right side, the devices list on the left side, and the state of the devices, that too on the left side. Now the devices list is blank because we don't have any devices listed. So anyway, our interface is working fine. First I will install the tracker tracking application or the client application into the device. Just like we said before, we have two applications, that is a client application and a manager application. So client application, what it does is it will be installed in a device. So whenever the device changes position or whenever the device moves, it will be sending the GPS coordinates to the server, and the server will be saving the coordinates and tracking it on the screen. Manager application is actually the application which is similar to this, our web interface, the tracker web interface, which can be installed in mobile applications also. So we have the manager application open in our web browser right now. The same application is available in Android and iOS devices also. So let's now proceed with the client application, and in the coming sessions we will have the manager applications for Android or iOS device. So let's now have our client application installed in an Android device right now. So this is my Android device. I connected it to a remote monitoring software called AnyDesk, and to install the tracker client application, just go to Play Store and tracker client. Search for tracker client and you can see the tracker client application. Click on install and it will start installing. The application has been installed. Let's click on open and it will open the application. At first we have to input few data into this. Let's have our tracking URL set here. Click on tracking URL and you can see currently it's a demo tracker website listed there. So let's have our IP address, which is 18.28. So we'll have our IP address, this IP address here, which is 18.218.126.19, and then click on OK. So our server tracking URL is now set to our web server URL. Click OK. Leave the port as 5055 itself. We have opened the port for accepting the connection. Click OK, and that's all. Any other configuration option, reporting angle, let's keep it as 0. Distance, let's keep it as 0 so that it will monitor all the movements. Then frequency, reporting frequency, let's have it as 100. So every 100 seconds it will send the data to the server. And the accuracy is medium. Let me change it as high. Let's have it as medium right now. Okay, and the device identifier is 796349. We can go to the tracker application, click on devices. Let's add this device, my Android, and the identifier will be 7963. This is identifier 796349 and click yes. And you can see till now the device does not report to the server, and that's why it's listing as offline. Let's go to our device and let's turn on the service. Yes, allow. And you can see the device is now online and my location has been tracked here. It will not be accurate because I am inside my building, my house. So I have to go out and this will be moving. This will start moving. So now I will go out and you can see my movement in the screen. Let me turn up the location accuracy to high and then again turn on the service. I will move out and you can watch my movement in the screen. Give me a second. Let me keep the screen on and I will move out. I'm back. Hope you have seen the movements on the screen. Actually, I zoomed the map a bit. Actually, the movements was not precise because I was walking around my house. And since I started and ended up the same point, it will not show the track. Because no distance was covered, that's why it's not showing the track. But if you travel a long distance, maybe you place the phone inside the car or you walk with your Android or iOS client open and sending data to the server, then it will be fine. It will show the track correctly. You can turn on this live routes and follow, then the geofencing, all these options in order to have it working. And let's now check few options that are available in the tracker interface, which is first its account is account details that you have. Then the groups is actually if you are providing this GPS service for taxi owners and if you want to have some travels as ABC travels, and we have created a group called ABC travels, and if you have 15 cab or car devices listed here and you want to group 5 of them to ABC services cab service, then you can click on the device name and then you can edit it. In the extra you can have the group as ABC travels and you can have category, model, contact number, phone number, everything, and click on save. So it will be inside the group. Now one more thing we have is geofence. Geofence is actually we can have the person or the driver, if they go out of the geofence, the area that we specify, then we will give an alert. For example, if some cab service is restricted to service in a particular city and you are the owner of the cab service, you want to know if the driver is going out of the city, then you can set up a geofence. For example, within city, and the description, driver should be within the city, and the area I can say it like I will draw a circle from this area, so he should be within this area, and once he move out of this area I will get an alert. So this kind of facility is called as a geofence. You can use it for getting alerts when your driver or maybe your kid or maybe your car move out of a particular geofence. Then we have the notification setting. You can set the type of notification device is moving or geofence has entered geofence or exited the geofence, and there are many type of notifications available. If the device exceeds the speed, if the ignition is on or ignition is off, if offline, fuel drop event, then driver has changed. All these some types required additional hardware, for example to track the fuel and to track the ignition, then driver change. So all these things require some additional hardware, but to track the location and other location based things like if the device is moving or entered the geofence or leave the geofence, like that, you can set a notification, and you can set to have the notification given in all these formats, and you can save it. So the notification is now on. So once the device has exited the geofence, all my registered device will get a warning or notification. And these are the few options that we can configure inside Trucker. You can also install the same application just as we did in an iOS device. I have connected my iOS device to TeamViewer just to show you. Just go to App Store and go to search. There, search for Trucker client, and you can see the Trucker client application. Similar application, exactly same as that of the Android application. You can download it, click on get, and it will start downloading the application and installing it in your iOS device. And once the installation is complete, just open it like what we did on Android device, and it will send data to the server. And we will install the management interface in Android and iOS devices. We already have the web management interface, which can be used inside a browser. The same management interface can also be installed in an Android as well as an iOS device. Let's see how we can do that. And in my Android device, I can go to Play Store, then I can search for Trucker Manager, and it will give this icon, the blue icon application. Click on install. The application has been installed. Let's open this application, and it's asking for server. Let's give the server IP address, which is 108.2.18.126.19. Okay, starting the application. The email was Happy Virtual Studios. That's my Gmail address, and the password was GPSDEMO, the same password that we used to log into our web interface. Let me remember it. Click on login, and you can see my device here. Okay, it's really cool. And I have the list of devices in the bottom, and I'll be having the other options in the sidebar. Actually, I cannot scroll it right now because I'm using a remote desktop software. It is not capturing the scrolling. So if your car is having a GPS device fitted, add it to the application, and inside the Android you can track it. Or you can use the web interface, or you can use your Android device. And now let's see how you can use your iOS device to track it. Okay, now I have my iOS device up here, and let's go to App Store, and in App Store search for Trucker Manager, and it will give the exact same as that you have in the Android device. Click on get, and it will install the application. While it's getting installed, let's check the screen. It's exactly the same thing. The application has been installed. Click on open, and here we have to enter the IP address of our server. Done. And click on start, and you have the same exact login box. In email, write my login, and the password box we had as GPSDEMO and login, and we have the same app here also. So this is my map, and the geofence I gave, everything is exactly the same as that of Android. So that's all. We have successfully installed a server, configured everything, installed client applications in Android as well as iOS. We tracked using, even if it's a small distance, we tracked using the client application, and we installed the management application. We had it in our web as well as we installed in our Android and iOS device. So this is my Android device, this is my iOS device, and this is my web interface. So we install the management application in the three interfaces.